Now let's start off with some of the recommendations that we have. Now we'd like to hear from you 1 or 2 words, whatever you have from the different table. Now who would like to start first? Mei-Ling can go around and pass the mic. At the same time, just give us your recommendations. Do we have any to start off with from any of the table there? Rachel?
We had a marvellous quote about how people need to get to know people before they start judging. I think it's probably one of the big things that we had around our table. I think it was probably the summary.
Okay. Rachel, will you be submitting that to us later? Pass it down to all, including the evaluation form? Yes. George?
Yeah, one of the things that came out of our discussion was the fact that since about 95% of the world's population are peaceful people, but the 5% that are not get all the coverage, I thought it would be really good if we could insist that the local press and the local TV cover this event with all the statistics, total number attending, religions represented, community organizations represented, variety of speakers, topics covered. This has been a major event and is representative of the majority of attitudes present in the Toowoomba community. This majority has a right to be covered by the media.
Hey, thank you, George. We'll pick it up from there. Thank you. Very, very encouraging. Thanks a lot.
Discussion about the gap between the rich and the poor, or educated and uneducated. We talk about the direction from the leaders. They need this, but supported by the people. We have to lead by our own actions. The quote today was partly, if we have peace in our homes, we have peace in our hearts. Then we can encourage others to do the same, have peace in their heart, leading to peace in their home, neighbourhood, suburb, city, state, country.
Thank you. May I request, before you speak, it would be nice if you just identify yourself. That will help so that we know who is speaking. Yes, Mei-Ling, that's one here, one gentleman there. On the right, on my right here.
We just thought of a couple of probably not just activities, basically. And the first one we thought of was, tea's drunk in just about everywhere in the world, and in all shapes, tastes, and types. So we thought maybe the introduction of having a cup of tea day as a driver for developing common understanding. And I'm not sure how it would transform, but it might be a way where people could feel less threatened and join together for a cup of tea. The other thing, and it's just a bit of a suggestion for the forum, we thought about maybe a cultural sharing component to the forum, which may have a topic, and we just sort of a topic like time. A good time to someone in a very remote part of the world, in outer Mongolia or some such place, will be the sun coming up and the sun going down, and when the next harvest festival is, that's the next holiday. Whereas here, it's I only got 5 minutes and I have to go to another meeting. And next Monday is Labor Day, whereas they have a completely different perception of time.
That's good. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's interesting. Yes. Do we have... Yeah, Bill, want to say something?
Bill volunteered me. Really, we all seem to pop off to various other tables, but the ones who were here, we thought that the world and the nation and the world was a bit of a large question for us. But here in Toowoomba, it was all about ourselves, our own homes, our friendship and our acceptance of other people. And we thought really sometimes you needed to be quite brave to be outgoing to other people, because sometimes you get a knockback, and that really you have to persevere in these things. And that was as far as we got, I'm afraid.
Bill, you wanted to say something?
Yes.
Yeah, please.
I'd like to thank one of the speakers, up to one of the last speakers. He just mentioned for about half a minute a couple of positive, successful events, groups in Toowoomba, Flexi School and Tomnet. They work with, members of those work with older people, they work with all nationalities, think nothing of it, and I think in the future, if some of the speakers could just nominate those in what they do, no more than half a minute on each one, it might interest the people to know just what is going on in Toowoomba. Thank you.
All right. Yes, Bill. There's a point there.
Okay, first of all, we'll totally agree with what the first group said on the other side over there, that the second group, sorry, thank you, that we can't keep any problems or things to ourselves. All people cannot be here today, so we totally and wholeheartedly agree that, yes, we need this sort of coverage to go out to more people through the media. The media can be worked for good or bad, and I think sometimes there's more people on the bad side that are getting coverage in the media, and maybe as a good group of people, a peaceful group of people, we should be looking for coverage in the media, because pictures speak louder than words, and even pictures of the variety of facial features that we have within this room would help others see that we are mixing and we are friends. Within our nation, there was a comment that until we heal the wounds of colonisation within Australia on both sides, it will be a real challenge to try to find the true harmony on a societal level. And so this wound impedes peace in Australia. There you go. I guess as a general, we need to recognise and commune with people's similarities rather than the differences. Often people look just for the differences, or where are you from? You look different to me. Why not say, hey, we're all from Toowoomba. What are you doing this afternoon? Come for a cup of tea. And one of Sophie's ideas for young people, and I know a lot of young people are travelling more, we are so sheltered if we have only ever lived in Australia and known the Australia that they call a multicultural society. We need to actually go out and see how different people live, so that one of the people on the panel, and I can't recall your name, sorry, was saying about actually seeing and recognising the way that we parent differently, or the way that we live differently, and agreeing with that. And so in that way, if they travel overseas more, they will learn that there are people overseas, people just like us, with flaws and positives just like us. So the similarities are there, not the differences. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I certainly agree that we need to get this media, because the media is a powerful way of trying to disseminate information and reaching out to a wider group. We'll try to get them, because we did, but I think what we'll do a story here and give it to the media and hopefully encourage them to get this published, because that's one way. But I think you also know that we are making videos of this, and these videos will be available to you later, because we have your names, we have your registration, so we are able to send you that, either send it to you or you can come and collect when it is ready. All right, that's very important. And I certainly agree that, see, the problem with us is because we tend to work on differences rather on similarities. But if we go on similarities, as I mentioned, the differences will melt, because there's so many common things where we don't realize. There are many things that we don't want to accept, that we are human beings, we are here on a common platform, we share a common airspace. You cannot demark air for one ethnic group to the other. You can't do that, right? So these are many things that probably that doesn't realize. And I can agree with you that we are very fortunate here, you know, very, very fortunate. If you travel and you see people, then you will realize how much people have difficulty. Even to survive a day, they are not sure, right? So this is the concern that I think all of us here are very concerned. That's why that we need to continuously get together and remind ourselves. Because never assume. The moment you assume that everything is peaceful in Toowoomba, everything is okay, then I think you're not wise enough. Because that's not a good thing to assume. Right? It's always, you must ensure. Because we have seen a lot, even from certain, I give you an experience, assuming. Because you don't want to, you don't want to ensure that how do you handle these people? How do you manage them? How do you take care of them? How do you plant some values in them? But you fail to do so. So we don't want that, we don't want that to happen anywhere, in any part of the world, least in Toowoomba. Because this is one place you'll be grateful if you know what's happening outside. I'll tell you, you will be very, very grateful. Yes, Michael has got something there. Mailing? Sorry. Oh, just a minute. Michael here first. Just a minute.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Michael. I'm a social researcher, so I address all problems as a social researcher. And with what we've gone through today, it seems to me there's a fairly obvious question in terms of a research question is, what do we need to do to make sure Toowoomba now and in the future is an inclusive community, a community of peace and harmony? In research, you look at what information's already available. We're not the first town to ask this question. Then you look for what information we don't have. How many service agents have we have? How successful are we? Where are the gaps? And then you look at what needs to be done, which is an action plan. So in thinking like a researcher, to not just walk away from here and say we all had a good chat today and somebody else is going to go out and do something, if we structure a small group to address those questions and actually put together a draft plan of action that then comes back to broader groups for discussion to see how they can be implemented. We're always short of money. So if you get 10 people who have $1, you've got $10. You can do 10 times more than one person by themselves. So I just suggest that sort of action, that we keep the momentum going into action, not just discussion.
Thank you, Michael. In fact, we are working very closely with Michael on some level of this understanding. It is still in the preliminary stage, but we do hope that since Michael has mentioned that to you, in the future we need your cooperation. Please come forward and help us out, because in terms of answering the question and answers or providing some of your opinions and views. In this respect, I would like to welcome our Mr. Trevor Watts, the Honourable Trevor Watts, the Member of Parliament for Toowoomba North. He's representing our Minister Glenn, on behalf of Glenn Ems, the Minister for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander and Multicultural Affairs, and Minister is assisting the Premier, Member for Noosa, who will be doing the closing address after this. So please welcome Mr. Trevor Watts. All right, do we have any other Yes, please. Sorry. Yeah, Roberto.
My name is Roberto Garcia. I work, I'm with the Toowoomba Regional Council, and also I am a member of the Goodwill Committee. Now, in our table, it's a very interesting discussion, but to make it short, this is, everybody has affirmed that when we live today, we share the feeling of inspiration and love that we have with those that we meet today. The place has given us energy to spread the message. So there is a really good feeling of goodwill in this kind of forum. So let's hope that we can bring out the message when we come out from this place. That's all.
Yes, I think that's a very good advice, Roberto. I think, like I say, not everybody can come to the forum. Each has got their own other chores, responsibilities. But we are the people who stayed back here, who are here to get some of the points, bring it back and share it. I think the first point of sharing is share with your family. Then goes to your friends, your neighbors. And that way, I think we will grow. We'll certainly grow, and we can have a better community, a better caring community. Yes. Yes, Scott.
Okay, my name's Scott McGrath, as you probably gathered from my presentation. Our group just had one question and probably one statement. The question was, how can we work with people or with ourselves as well on becoming more caring, loving, compassionate and tolerant? So how can we facilitate that personally and externally with others? And the other thing our group said was, can we look out for the gorilla? So, so not just looking for the obvious or what we've seen before, but keeping an eye out for that gorilla that's there somewhere.
Thank you, Scott. We'll remember that. Yes, do we have any other? Please. Yes, Jed.
In a way, this is a cultural thing. I was born in a society where a married woman was forbidden to have a bank account without her husband's permission. And when I was born, if a wife was unfaithful to her husband and the man killed the other man, he was never brought to trial. And still in the state that I grew up in, an atheist can't serve in public office. Now, my wife, when we got married, promised to obey me. And our marriage didn't really get good until she quit obeying me. And we became a partnership. And one of the concerns I have, because as a retired minister in a church, I know there are strong forces in the church, for instance, the Christian Women's Course, to put women back in a subservient position. And I think that as we have a multicultural society, it is very important that we say to the people coming over and ourselves that we must affirm the place of women and women to fully fulfill themselves and have their own choices. And I'm very strong about that. And just because I had these Southern American cultural differences, I don't think I have a right to impose them. Anyway, thanks.
Thank you. I do, Jed, I do really strongly with you that the woman should have a choice, you know. And I think that's what actually, if you look at it, if I just diverse a bit, now that's also something, there's always a misconception about Islam that women are treated differently. No, that's not right. In Islam, the woman has a choice to pick a husband, a choice to work, a choice to own properties. Right? There are a number of things that perhaps my friend Arsalan may wants to say something on that. I suppose I saw you putting up your hand. Would you like to add on to what Jed has said?
Thank you very much. I know that you attended their question, but you know, in those days, 14 centuries ago, in Arabian Peninsula, women had not very much value. If this man owed that man something, he was going to his house, say you have 2 camels, say $10 each. You have a wife, $3. 2 daughters, $5 each. And then value them as such. At that time, Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam, married, or I should say Khadija married Muhammad. Khadija was first wife Muhammad had, And as long as she was alive, he never married another wife. She was 28 years older than him. That's important. Nobody tells us these things. The other thing, it was ashamed for a man to work for a woman. Muhammad was working for Khadija. The next thing, Prophet Muhammad had daughters. Fatima, his elder son, wherever Muhammad was there in the mosque or here and there, she was sitting on his lap. So he was, in that society of that time, valuing the ladies. This is the way the life is in real religions, because the prophets of God bring the message from him to his people. In Persian language, that I come from that culture, we don't have two words for man and woman. We have one word. Is that equality? Do we have it in English language or in French or in German? In Persian, we have one word for man or woman, third person. So in the law, there is no difference in wages or salaries, in terms or conditions, in anything. They are equal. So these are small informations that we don't get here and there. And what my brother, Mr. Hanif, said before about the quotation from Prophet Muhammad, he said, "Utlubul ilm walau kana fil sin," because the Arabs can't say che. Go and find the knowledge, and if it is in China. That was the Arabic word for that thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Salat. All right, let's have one more there. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed. I'm Norbert.
Yes, Norbert, please.
I thought I could make a practical suggestion. I was sitting with three people here, and two of them for sure are connected with U3A. Now, some of you probably know about U3A, University of the Third Level. There was some comment made over there that a large number of people here are older generation. And could we include older generation in this thing? Now, U3A is another group that focuses on educational and cultural experiences, nurtures social interaction, includes people, whoever wants to join, of any age, to have cultural and educational experiences. It's a very active group, from Tai Chi to discussions to ancient history, anything. So I invite, this is a group that definitely should be on your list of organizations in Toowoomba that would be very inclusive for people from any culture, from any country. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Norbert.
Hello, everyone. I'm Delwyn. Our little group thought that we needed to perhaps take away today a daily practice, like a community affirmation or prayer or meditation, that we could all be using at the same time, perhaps midday, which is the universal time for meditation in the world. And we wondered, would Pure Lands be available to perhaps look at specific words for peace that we could use as a group? I know that words are very powerful, and the cumulative effect of words used in prayer are known to be extremely powerful. So just a little thought that we can take away something positive that we can feel we're doing as individuals, but collectively as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, can we have one more last one before we invite Mr. Trevor? Yeah, is that one more from Bill?
Bill Woodside again. further to what I was speaking about earlier, TomNet. We're there to prevent suicide in older men 50 years and older. But we don't look at their driver's license. If they need help, we help. We can, we do, and we succeed. Now, my wife and I went to South State School until it closed for 7 years, and we were very successful. Children born in 13, 14 different countries, and we just treated them as our grandchildren. Didn't matter what colour their skin was or where they came from or how they spoke, they were still just our grandchildren. And we were successful. I'd recommend it to anyone else working with children. Thank you.
Thank you, Will, for sharing with us. I shall now, I think we'll go a step ahead now. I shall now invite the Honourable Mr. Trevor Watts, the Member of Parliament for Toowoomba North, on behalf of the Minister Glenham, to do the closing address. Mr. Trevor, please.